How's it going, guys? Another week and another Destiny 2 video, and this week Lightfall is upon us, and with that comes all the build crafting changes. Now, these changes have become very streamlined and condensed to make it a much easier format for new players and veterans alike. So with this also comes a bunch of new mods and a bunch of new mod functions for some of the older ones that we have had. So we're going to go over that today, but first, a word from our sponsors and we'll get right into this. Before we go over the mods that we have gotten with Lightfall, I would like to quickly go over / recap the new systems that they have put in place for this new build crafting system. So first things first, we're going to look at the new build crafting screen itself. This is an amazing tool for build crafting, especially if you're just getting into it, because you can see everything. You can see how much energy your armor has, you can quickly change your mods as you see fit, and overall it is a very nice system to use. You can also change your weapons this way as well. So again, it is a very handy tool to have, especially for people who just like build crafting. The second thing that we're going to look at is probably my favorite, and that is the loadout system. I am somebody who makes at least 4 or 5 builds a season, and half the time I forget what they are or I forget to save them in dim. With this, I can save it directly to my game and use it whenever I want. Now, of course, it can pull stuff from your vault, but you can't pull stuff back, so of course dim is still going to be very handy for that, and I will still post dim links in my descriptions so you can quickly put it together and have no worries whatsoever about it being right or wrong, and then you can just save it to your loadouts yourself. And the cool thing about this is you can overwrite any previous loadout. So for example, if you take one of my builds and you tweak it to make it your own, you can then overwrite whatever you have saved by holding down whatever button it tells you to. I know on PlayStation it's hold square, so hold square, I can overwrite my build and it will just make the changes that it needs to make to be what I'm currently wearing. It is an amazing tool to have, especially for, again, someone like me who makes like 5 or 6 builds a season. The last thing we're going to look at is the artifact. Now, the artifact works differently this season than it has the past few years. This season, they are passive buffs that you can give your character. This means whatever you have unlocked will just apply passively to you. So if you have the perk Rain of Firebolts, which I believe is the one that gives you 2, or it could be the one where that gives you more scorch, either way, whenever you have Firebolts equipped, you will automatically have that artifact mod applied to you. Right now, I'm running the one where when you shoot tangles, it makes a more damaging explosion and suspends targets, and that is applied to me automatically whenever I am running Strand and interact with a tangle. It is amazing, and of course that works the same with champion weapons. If you are running anti-barrier sidearm, any sidearm that does not have any pre-existing champion functions will now automatically have anti-barrier on them. It is really good because that frees up a lot of mod slots for us for our build crafting. So with all that stuff recapped and gone over, we can now begin looking at these mods. Now, the first section of mods we're going to look at, I'm going to consider like general mods. These mods have no real bearing on your armor charges or really your weapons either. So the first ones we're going to look at are ammo, finders, and scouts. Finders work like they used to in the past, except they have been condensed into special and heavy like they were way back in the day, and scout mods allow for your allies to get ammo when your finders make a brick. So if your heavy ammo finder makes a brick of heavy for you, it has a chance to make one for your allies as well, which is really handy for high-end content. We have basic stat mods. These are unchanged in their function to add either +5 or +10 to the stat of your choosing. And then we have what I like to call just augmenting mods. These are things that'll help your super or your other abilities along. These are mods like Ashes to Assets and Bolstering Detonation. They also include resistance mods because, you know, they just have no real other place to go. And then mods that will give you class ability, grenade ability, or melee ability energy back when you pick up orbs. Now, you can make a ton of orbs in this new system with things like firepower, where your grenades make orbs, heavy-handed, where melees make orbs, or Reaper, where getting a defeat after using your class ability also makes you orbs. Now, these are just very basic way to make orbs. You can still make orbs with your weapons when you use weapon siphon mods, where elemental weapons make orbs of power upon getting multi-kills. Now, this is going to be part of our weapon mods section, where all of these mods have been split into elemental damage type over the weapon types themselves. Pre-Lightfall, they were reduced down to like hand cannon, auto rifle, scout rifle. Now they are arc, solar, kinetic, all that stuff. So basically now just match the element of your weapon that you want to get these bonuses to the element of the mod. We're going to go over all of these for newer players, as I'm sure that the older players already know what all of these do, but for the newer players, we're going to go over these very quickly. We have targeting mods. These improve your target acquisition and accuracy and aim down sight speed of your weapons. Loaders increase reload speed of weapons, dexterity, faster ready and stow speed of weapons. Unflinching reduces flinch from incoming fire. Reserves increase the amount of ammo you can carry. Holsters gradually reload your stowed weapons. And scavengers, where you just get bonus ammo from picking up heavy or special bricks. Now, like I said at the beginning, these are all split into your elemental affinities and elemental damage types. There's also the harmonic versions of all of these, where it is just whatever is matching your subclass. So for example, if I'm running a Void Hunter and I'm using Funnel Web, I can just use the harmonic version of all of these mods, and they are slightly cheaper, giving you a nice little bonus to matching your subclass to your weapon damage type, which is really nice because I do that a lot of the time. But now we're going to move on to the armor charge mods. These mods are what make this new system work, and they come in a few different types of mods as well as a few different functions. A majority of them right now make your armor charges decay slowly, while others will consume them like the old Charge with Light system used to. So we're going to look at fonts. While you have a stack of armor charge, you gain a bonus to whichever stat the mod includes. This would be either mobility, resilience, recovery, intellect, strength, and or discipline. These give you a plus 30 in your stat of your choosing when you have a stack of armor charge. This is very helpful for people who run from 60 to 70, and it is amazing. Now, when you stack more of them on, you get diminishing returns from them. You don't get the full plus 30 for the second one. You get a plus 20, and then you get a plus 10 for the third one. So I highly recommend what you want to do for your strength, recov, discipline, whatever stat you really want to focus on, just make that into a 70 or an 80 if you really want to push it. Slot in a font mod, and while you are in combat and have a stack of armor charge, you will be at 100. The only real stat I don't recommend doing this with is resilience, because sometimes you won't have an armor charge and you'll just get one shot because of the resilience changes. So I highly recommend still having a higher tier resilience and then using these font mods to help push your other stats into the numbers you want them to be while in combat. The next ones we're going to look at are surges. While you have a stack of armor charge, your weapon deals increased damage. Now these are also broken down into different elements. One mod equipped, they give you a 10%. Two, they give you, I believe it's like a 15 or 17%, and at 3 you get a 22% bonus. This is very nice, again, if you're matching elements with your subclass, or you just want to run, for example, Galahorn with a solar subclass. Just put on Solar Surge and Galahorn will get the bonus damage. You no longer have to match your weapon to your subclass like you used to with the old Font of Might. Now you can mix and match a lot more freely. We then have consumption mods like your Kickstarter mods. Grenade and melee kickstart. While using your melee or grenade, you will then get some energy back, but while you have stacks of armor charge, they will consume the stacks of armor charge and give you more grenade or melee energy back upon consumption. Emergency reinforcements. When you have stacks of armor charge and your shields break and you go into critical, they will consume your stacks of armor charge and give you resistance based around how many stacks of armor charge you have. And then we have our finishers, where when you finish a target, it will consume armor charge stacks to do whatever the finisher mod tells you it'll do, whether they be make ammo or make another orb of power. And finally, we have the mods that kind of adjust the way your armor charges are gained and how they decay. These are just like the miscellaneous random mods. These mods include time dilation for increased time on your stacks, as normally they decay after 10 seconds, and then they will decay with 15 with this particular mod. We have stacks on stacks, where picking up an orb grants you 2 stacks of armor charge, and charge it up where you can carry an additional stack of armor charge. And Powerful Friends is great if you are in a team where if you get a stack of armor charge, as do to your allies, and I believe Radiant Light is when you cast your super, they get armor charge, and then 2 if they're using a different damage type for a super. I don't know that one off the top of my head, I haven't really played with it. But the armor charge system is very nice and very simplistic. The easiest way to remember this is that the green mods adjust how armor charges are gained and how they decay. Your yellow ones are consumption mods, they will consume your armor charge, and your blue ones are your decaying mods. These were the ones that are going to make your armor charge have a timer. Now, my personal full-on opinions about this system, it is very, very simple and very easy to use. However, at the time of making this, I feel like a lot of the builds right now are going to be the same, with just stacking fonts and surges, maybe a few consumption mods here and there, but of course, Bungie did say they're going to add more mods throughout the year and build upon this system, which I really enjoy this system. It's going to make it easier for me to make builds, it is going to make it easier for me to share my builds with you guys, and it is going to give me more avenues to go with things that I hadn't thought about before. So with that, that is the end of this video. I hope you gained some really helpful insight on this new system, as it can be a little confusing to new players and veterans who really didn't invest too much in buildcrafting beforehand. So with that, I hope everybody has a good week, and I hope everybody has fun on Neomuna.